I respect that.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
So as the suction line warms up, the pressure increases. It pushes down on that little thin piece of metal, and if the superheat is high, the suction pressure could be low or high. So if the suction pressure is low and the superheat is high, the valve is going to feed more refrigerant, right? Because the pressure that's force is acting on here, it's going to tend to open the valve. Now, if the suction pressure raises and the bulb temperature lowers, then it's going to kind of go the opposite way and close the valve. So it's always, doing this.
You said two opposite.
It is two opposite forces, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bulb pressure is trying to go down.
Yeah.
The suction pressure is trying to go up, so it's a balance between the two, right?
Yeah.
And then the spring pressure is kind of that where the manufacturer of the valve, they get to interject however much of
Downforce.
downforce it's got. So that's superheat basically. That the spring sets the superheat. Is that correct?
Yes. Right, because if it didn't, then the bulb force and the refrigerant force would be equal. And if they were equal, you wouldn't have any control.
Yeah, the valve
You have
just
to have an overcoming force to increase that superheat number. That's the spring.
Probably didn't do the best impromptu explanation. Are there any questions about how it works in order to start troubleshooting it?
Yeah, why is it always bad?
Exactly.
Might as well always bad, right?
TXV.
Exactly. Yeah. Why? You're getting used to Miami, you see?
I think what we're trying to get at is how do we know that it's the expansion valve rather than a kink pipe or a clogged dryer or something else?
What does an expansion valve need to work? Right? One thing.
Full pump liquid.
We'll call them liquid, that's right. Now that's not always easy to test in the field, is it? Because, yeah, you got it at the condenser, but do you have it at the TXV?
You just listen.
That's right.
This is extremely useful.
It is.
It's extremely useful. But what does that mean then? What does that noise mean? That may be a tangent. We don't really want to go down.
We can go down and help a little bit after, but what's the other thing we're going to need for that valve to work?
100 psi pressure drop.
Pretty much, rule of thumb there is pretty close, yeah. A lot of valves need about 100 psi pressure drop. They all need a certain pressure drop, but depends on the refrigerant and application, but yeah, they do need a pressure drop.
So if it's
You
really
can't
cold
have-
outside,
Yeah, you can't have super low pressure liquid. It's not the valve's not going to work. Pressure drop.
So you're talking about like putting ambient controls and stuff?
Well, if you want it to work when it's cold out, which for comfort cooling we don't care about, but for refrigeration you need to raise the head pressure because you're still going to be wanting your box.
Sure, yeah. If we're talking refrigeration and air conditioning, in Florida anyway, modern balanced port valves tend to do a really good job across probably even like down to 100 psi. That's different.
It's typically what they want. Depends on the application of the valve. Also, in smaller applications, instead of an external equalizer like we've drawn there, it'll be internal in the valve, like on really small refrigeration units. It's still there, it's just not external in the valve.
So the insulation of the bulb is important. In some applications, it's not needed.
If there's not a bunch of air blowing across it, it's not as needed. And
Okay.
some manufacturers actually ship that way, and it works fine. It's not going to hurt. It's never going to hurt to insulate it.
My question is about the rim units in particular. Why they have to be mounted outside?
So what you'll see on those ring units a lot when they give you the bulb to mount outside.
Ring big size unit coming for good
You'll see
outside.
people mount them inside, but they usually mount them in such a way that it's only getting part of the return side of the coil, and it doesn't work great.
So okay.
So they unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, have you mount it outside the unit.
So you're mounting it outside, not
Good.
because mounting it outside's better, but because it's the only place the suction line that you can really mount it where everything's coming together.
There's some-
Yeah, I think they did that more for when you're brazing it. If there's a big red tag and it's not connected to anything and it says, do not connect this to the
Starts
line
with
before brazing. So I think they kind of figured that was their easy out to not have a bunch of burned up valves,
Okay.
if that makes sense. Because some of the ring units, I mean, it's a tiny little section of anything inside the unit. So there's almost no place to put it, and if it was right there, it would literally get cooked.
Yeah.
By the installation.
So what would happen if you were installing the THB and during the brazing process you filled the equalizing tube with braze, so now it's clogged?
You had to go there.
I've seen this more than once.
I've done it more than once.
And
Why would you do something?
Where do you put the solder that gets all the way into this tiny little tube? Because your brazing comes out here.
You know, when you get it hot enough, the whole thing will just melt.
How many solder
Brian, take his torches away.
Brian cut his solder and like
Smaller pieces.
small.
Now just take his torches
Are
away.
you talking about
Baby
those
sizes.
green ones where you have to pull it out of that little cylinder coming out of the suction line and then?
I can't remember which one it was that I did that to, but yeah.
I've seen them fully
I'll
closed
say
in that
yes.
situation.
So this is an interesting debate that I actually debated with the Sporling guys because this is a closing force to the valve. So you would know, and they kind of tend to teach that will make the valve flood. Why? Because if you braze this shut, there is no pressure to close the valve at all. So all it has is the full pressure, and it can open it wide open. Does that make sense to everyone? But that's typically not what ends up happening when first solder the equalizing tube shut. Because I tend to find that there is a little bit of leakage inside this valve. So what it does is it tends to start to fill up this tiny little copper tube. Especially during the off cycles when the unit, like you may have done what Bert described, and the unit is running somewhat normal, it's actually cooling, your superheat's like 0,
Yeah.
but
That's
you
what
leave a job. And then all of a sudden, the next day, the customer says it's doing the same thing, and you come back and find that the THB is now locked down. Well, why was it running okay at first? Because it takes a while for this to start building up pressure, but since it's capped off here, so to speak, it has nowhere to go. So now the THB sits there and sees standing pressure, 200 psi, whatever that is, and it's trapped inside this little line. And at that point, now what does the valve go?
Slam shut, Joe.
We have no chickens? No.
No.
No chickens. We need a new prize. Here.
I can't curl.
So the valve is slammed shut at that point because now, in essence, the valve is seeing that your suction pressure is 200 psi. And that's kind of why they call them hard shut-off THBs. That's basically how they work. Because I thought long ago, it's like, how does this THB know when the compressor shuts off? It baffled me for a while because it kind of stops flowing, right? Because your high side will be, maybe what it is ambient outside, like let's say 90 degrees in the summer, saturation. And your suction pressure just sits at like 60 psi, and it can sit that way for hours. So basically, as soon as the compressor shuts off, the suction pressure starts to go up, and then the valve sees that kind of your superheat is 0, so it starts to close, and then it shuts all the way off, and it sits pretty much in the shut-off position until your compressor comes on again, and then the suction pressure goes from 220 down to 1, let's just say 130. And now all of a sudden, now the valve starts to feed again because it senses the suction pressure here. So I think maybe one of the more common ways you can see this type of a problem is not necessarily that it's been soldered shut, although that can happen, but what do a lot of coils ship with in that little flare?
Plug.
A what?
Plug.
A plug? Well, yeah, but what else is in there sometimes?
Depressor.
A core depressor?
A strainer.
A strainer.
Yeah.
And you always kind of want to look and, before you pull one of these up, just get in the habit of looking and seeing, okay, this has a core depressor. Most of them, I don't see any reason, and maybe Brian might, I don't see any reason to have a core depressor there. Do you?
You mean
I mean a strainer core.
It's a placeholder for a piston coil.
Right.
There's something in there.
No, but I'm saying if you're putting a coil in and your habit is, I'm going to pull the strainer regardless, is there any reason that y'all can think of not to do that?
Does it give you an option to put an orifice in instead of a TXB?
Some coils do, yeah. So they'll ship it.
Well, why do you need it? Is the question. I mean, there's this debate, which is like, why don't we have suction ports at the inside anyway?
And Train used to, right?
They used to, because it's. I mean, if you have ports suction and liquid on the inside, then you can really look at what your superheat and subcool is at your evaporator coil indoors, which is a super useful thing to have. And so maybe some of that might be like a past vestigial organ, vestigial organ.
How could you check your superheat if you had to disconnect the TXBs?
No, not from TXB. I'm just saying like that may be part of the thinking there. I don't know, but and there are actually TXBs that have core depressors in.
Right.
Right, but my point is
Why
not just make a habit of
Totally.
pulling the strainer core? I think that's kind of a common
Totally.
issue too.
If I wasn't going to bolt something onto it, I would probably
What now?
If you're not going to put a TXB on, you want to leave it in.
As a manufacturing standpoint?
As a technician standpoint, if I'm changing a coil, it's a piston coil, I would rather have a valve cord.
Okay, well that would be different from what I'm asking.
When you're saying a coil under TXB.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're saying a nut coil, then there's a piston.
That's what
We want to talk about pistons, all right? What's wrong with a piston?
I like pistons.
Yeah.
What can go wrong with
Piston
a
off.
piston? Have you ever said, ma'am, the piston's bad? Anyone?
Yes.
What content?
Are we quoting the same thing right now?
You say that one time.
I've had it happen.
I have.
What happened to the piston?
Oh, I think
Bad.
yeah.
It would not seal it. It was a cooling only unit.
Wouldn't
but
see.
it wouldn't see. It was a really old unit.
Is that a problem with the piston stuff?
It was a problem with
I
the
thought-
installation and service practices that led up to that.
Well, but that's the same to be said of a TXB.
And I would agree, yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were referring to, there's a very famous YouTube video where the guy says, what's wrong with the piston? Are you familiar with this one?
I believe I am, if we're on the same page.
All right, fair enough. Have you ever said, yeah, just the way you said it sounded a lot like that video. Okay, fair enough, keep going.
Well, I don't know what, Eric kind of,
Something we used to see kind of, but I haven't really seen much anymore, is the famous rust inhibitor. Sometimes you get them stuck open because the system would be, in like hard cooling mode a lot when it's put in the summertime.
would it be stuck open? I thought those were all stuck shut.
Most of the time they would, but I've seen them where they're stuck open and they just wouldn't seem to react to any forces. Like they wouldn't do anything. You have real high suction pressure and you change it and it works.
That's when you just pinch off the discharge line on the compressor.
Exactly.
The test.
Are there
Hey,
any?
that's a good, I'm just gonna let y'all know that is my best idea that I've ever had. And Brian thinks it's a bad plan. If there,
The best idea you've ever had sounds pretty subjective.
best idea I've had in a long time.
All right, we won't keep going on that. Keep going.
I was trying to get eventually to diagnosing the valves. I'm sure that's kind of what you guys really want to know. Is your number one answer was the valve needs a full column of liquid, which, I mean, when the system's pumping down and the valve's completely shut, it's kind of an open and shut case at that standpoint. That you've got liquid pressure on the service valve outside. There's no real good way to ensure that you have that inside when the system's like pumping down or running, honestly, to be completely honest, when you come to a unit that's never had the charge messed with,
How do you know?
well, I'm saying this as a theoretical. And let's say the valve is not slammed shut, but your suction pressure on 410A, let's say it's reading like 60, and your head pressure's 270. Your outdoor ambient is like 90. Well, I don't know.
November 2nd.
Right, so that's what I'm saying is, I mean, it's extremely difficult to really get a good direction without at least putting maybe a pound in to kind of see how it reacts. Is that, I mean, would you consider that an acceptable practice?
Why wouldn't you just check super?
Check 7.
Yeah, just check something.
But your subcooling is going to be one.
No, your subcooling will still be. Your subcooling will still be.
At 60 psi, you'll still have enough movement to have pretty good. I'm fine with 6 to 7.
Huh?
6 to 7, I feel like I can still diagnose safely as a THP.
Really?
At 60 psi. Maybe not if it was 90 psi.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm kind of weird.
It works when
Okay,
what
he's
he's trying to
absolutely
get at
right.
is sometimes it's borderline.
I could figure it out, but it's much easier to grab the tape.
I'm fine with splashing gas as long as you're using a scale. What ticks me off is
Yeah.
that's like, oh, I need to add a freon in there and add half a tank.
Eventually, get enough freon.
It ain't going in. It ain't taking it off. I mean, you know how many times I've gotten that call? Hey man, this is doing something weird. I'll keep adding freon to her and she ain't doing nothing.
It's weird, man.
How much did you add? Oh, I don't know, a few pounds.
What's your superheat?
Yes, they
I
do.
don't know a few pounds. Is that what your scale says on it? I don't know a few pounds. Weird scale. Sorry.
My first
If
misdiagnosed
you have
at
gauges
7
that say
pounds.
good.
I do, because I use measure quick. And it has
And
a.
then I quoted
What's it, green check?
Yes, it's in the green.
What were your
All right.
So if you had a sight glass, I mean, if you always install a sight glass, then you would always know.
Sight glasses are, you know, I don't think they are bad things other than the potential for a leak. You know, they're moisture indicators, and they make troubleshooting a heck of a lot easier, especially if you put them inside.
But if you're measuring subcool, you don't need a cycle.
No, but the thing is that, let's say you were at one of your crazy long line storage units that Eric tells me about, and the line's 300 feet long.
You're going to have high superheat by suction. But that's kind of the exceptional case.
But what I'm saying is if you're diagnosing TXB with a 100-foot line set that, you know, maybe it goes underground, it comes up, it goes into an apartment. So, yeah, you've got 6 degrees subcooling outside. And Bert, you could have misdiagnosed that unit, by the way, too. We'll get into that later if you want to.
Before I drive away, I will probably add a little bit of refrigerant, I'm not gonna lie, just to see what happens.
And anyway,
A lot
so
of people would.
You gotta take the bulb off and warm it up in your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Cup of hot
Water
water.
for the liquid line.
I do too, that's what I'm saying. It's like only out a compressor leg delay when you have a short. Same sort of thing. Guys do it, and they don't know what they're even looking for. And then they just say, well, it's bad because it seems like low ohms. Same sort of thing. Sorry, I just went on a little tangent there. It's the same thing. Guys warm up the bulb, and they say, well, it went up. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. It didn't go up. What does that mean? I don't know. Because it depends on how extreme it was, right?
Right.
So are there any adjustable residential TXVs?
yeah,
They are? I've never seen them.
Goodman, like pretty much every Goodman,
It's inside.
like in a Amana.
It's under the cab though. There's a cap you gotta take off.
Yeah. Oh. I see them in
If you see a
residential.
bulb,
I've
if
done
you
them,
see a
but
big
in
brass
a
nut,
residential style, I've never seen them.
if
I
you
mean,
see a big brass nut,
You find out
mine's grinding only, and I thought that was funny. That's just mark that. You see a big brass nut on the bottom of the TXT. Actually, it's not that big. regular size. It's maybe not the size.
That might be
It's not
average.
the same size as the refrigeration flare nut cap. And the reason I pointed that out is sometimes there's a big X.
Yeah, usually.
There's a big X. It looks like a big brass
Nut.
nut on the bottom. But
Usually those are not adjustable. Sometimes they are. Sometimes you pick it up as an Allen screw.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dan Foss has an Allen screw.
Yeah. That's the only ones that
It also
adjust.
has
Yes.
one side, but some of them.
Some of them are underneath. Yeah.
Anytime I try to take those big ones off, it just starts squirting refrigerator.
As you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you
Wow, this is really broke.
Yeah, you just take it out.
Freedom.
You take it out and cut some of that spring off.
how do you get that going?
It's funny now, right?
At some point, you just gotta walk away and let it go, right? It's not dying.
Oh, this ain't cold. Oh.
That's true, I've tried it.
Let's put some leak freeze in that. I heard that. Quick.
I'll only have leak freeze.
But the problem is you keep adding leak freeze, but then it has super cool in it too, so it just keeps getting colder and colder as it comes out.
So you should sell those 5-gallon buckets.
Sorry.
Where were we at?
Don't adjust it out.
Okay.
Don't adjust it. Don't.
I adjust it all
That
the
depends
time
on
to
what
be.
segment of the industry you're in, right?
That's true. That's true. But you adjust them all the time on air conditioners.
Yeah, I really do.
What's that?
because
All right. What's okay? This has to be a brand specific.
It is kind of a brand specific thing.
Oh wait, you and I
mentioned
already
it
had this
before. We had
conversation.
this,
Yeah, we did. Okay.
They all seem to come out of the box room like 1-2 degrees superheat.
Which is optimum from
They're getting the
efficiency.
most out of the coil.
Yeah.
But the whole compressor's like sweating and
That's good sweating somewhere.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's ask this question. What is the most efficient from a capacity and performance standpoint superheat you can possibly run?
0.
Well, is it 0?
No.
Nut.
0.000000001.
Right.
There's no drive. No.
Regardless says no. No.
Why not?
It depends if you had to raise the coil temperature to get 0.
Well,
Well, that
but
would
you
be,
wouldn't unless you
That would-
were beyond 0.
And I think that would still be offset by the continuing of the boiling effect of that gas because when you're in an evaporator and it's boiling, that's where like all your capacity comes from, am I right, Brian? Is the boiling effect of the refrigerator. That's when it's absorbing like
Exactly heat.
heat.
Absorbing heat.
Yeah, I mean like
If you have
latent
superheat
heat of
It's
vapor.
0. You have the evaporator coil full liquid.
No.
No.
No?
not if you're just at 0. If you keep going after you hit 0. Fun fact, a lot of screw and centrifugal chillers, they run at their target is 0. And the check charge like discharge superheat.
Yeah, but we are talking about the air conditioning, not the low temperature.
That's why they run it there, because that compressor doesn't care about liquid.
What would make sure you don't have any liquid droplets at saturated?
Well, those machines don't care.
It is that, it's like half, probably what, like half liquid.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah,
Not with
Thinking out
a
loud.
sip or a straw. Don't do it with that.
What?
Like 0 super.
It's like this is all half liquid, half vapor, roughly, right? So it's boiling. And Bert was saying, let's say this coil is stopping here. That's probably 12 degrees superheat. It's boiling up to here, and the rest of the coil it's done boiling. It's all vapor, and it's just picking up a little bit more heat, raising it above its saturated temperature. That's superheat. But Bert was saying, let's say this coil is running at 40 degrees. That's your saturated, 40 degrees, 70 psi, 68 psi, whatever it is, 410 to 120. So
How long have you been working on 410A now? You're still talking R22.
I'm old school, Brian. I don't
I
want
mean,
to it.
you've been around forever.
I've been around. So let's say this one's at 40 degrees, and this one next to it was boiling, pretty much all the way up, and maybe even some out the suction line a little bit. But this one was at 46 degrees.
Exactly.
Which one do you think would have more capacity?
40.
40? I'm saying not necessarily, right?
Well, it wouldn't be. The part of the answer is also that it wouldn't be 46 degrees.
Given all the other parameters, correct?
You're not going to increase the saturation temperature just by driving a little more liquid through the evaporator. Why would you? Why would your saturation temperature go up in that circumstance?
You're saying you add refrigerant and you're not going to raise your suction pressure? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That is pretty much. But it pretty much there's a point at which you will, but it harkens back more to a piston mindset where you're driving up your discharge, you're driving up your liquid pressure, and as you drive up your liquid pressure, then your suction pressure will also proportionally go up. There was a day where you would overcharge equipment significantly, and you would decrease your capacity because you'd get to zero superheat, and then you'd actually start increasing your saturation temperature. But with the TXV, that's exceptionally unlikely.
Yeah, you're right. We are talking about TXV.
We sure are. Anybody here from Texas? God bless Texas. I just felt like saying that.
I agree.
That's a thing to say.
He was not about to say something
The
like
more
that.
of our choir
I was
boys?
not. God bless Texas.
What do you, Texas?
That's it. No, it's a good thing.
God bless Florida.
And Texas. Keep going. Stop getting distracted just because I'm saying
Why?
negative things.
Kind of took us on a bit of a tangent there with capacity.
Teach us how to diagnose a failed TXV, Joe.
I'm trying.
All right.
I didn't know I was speaking on this.
Oh, well, how did it get
I didn't
started?
have time to prepare.
How did it get started?
Someone asked a question.
This
You
guy,
asked a
I know.
It was you, Chad.
question. It was
This
Bert.
guy, what?
Was it Bert?
It's his fault.
See that smile on his face?
Oh, wow.
That was it.
Basically, like Gary was saying, you have to, if you don't have test ports right inside the unit, you have to use process of elimination to make it the most likely path. Obviously, you could have a paper line possible. And check your liquid line dryer if you have one, check temperature drop across it. Once you get to that certain point, though, you kind of have to say TXV. And at that point, you'll be changing the liquid line dryer, so hopefully it's one to two.
Yeah,
I mean, temperature drop. I mean, that's the clue.
but not all dryers. I've seen some severely restricted dryers not have temperature drop.
I've seen also where liquid lines run through a conditioned space and you get a temperature drop of the air handler and it's enough because of any sort of restriction.
Okay, hold on. Let's do what you just said. Okay, let's work that. Just basic. So when you drop pressure, you drop temperature.
That's
Period.
No, not if it's subcooled.
If you drop pressure, you drop temperature.
Okay,
No,
Relative. It's relative.
not if it's being compressed though,
How could you drop pressure if it's being compressed?
because through a restriction.
You're dropping pressure, you're going to drop temperature. Because there's
Not
a restriction.
necessarily. As long as you still, like, let's say the dryer.
There's no flow of refrigerant.
Yeah.
If there's no refrigerant flow, then
depends how clogged. He said slant.
Well, no, I shouldn't say standard drop. That's a partially restricted, but you can have a large temperature. Sorry, a large pressure drop. No temperature drop.
No.
Yes.
No.
Only if it's
I've seen those.
fully vapor.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a basic tennis.
300.
Yeah, I mean, this is
300
very basic.
PSI R22 when I'm old school.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay. Entering the dryer.
Okay. Right? Liquid. This is a liquid line dryer, of course.
It's liquid.
It's not a discharge line dryer. Just making sure.
York uses discharge on dryers. So it doesn't. We won't get into that. Stop.
All right.
Doing this.
Okay. I love you.
300 PSI entering the dryer, and let's pick a temperature. It's probably going to be not quite ambient, but
Hey, let's tell you what. Why don't we bring out the refrigerant slider?
Well, let me see if I'm right. It's about 130 saturation.
Hold on. I guess got a load here.
We're going to say
This is
90
Dan Fox. We
degree,
can't expect it to be too quick.
90 degree outdoor ambient. this your app line?
300, huh? No, I'm using the damp outside. All right, so saturation is 127.
Oh, pretty close.
Is that what you said?
30.
Okay, all right. That's darn good. All right.
127
Okay.
in saturation.
Okay.
And now, keep in mind, you may not be able to see this pressure because this dryer might be inside the outdoor unit. I know you guys are big carrier guys and they ship them.
We're just saying, okay, all I'm disputing is your statement that you can have a pressure drop without a temperature drop.
Well, I've seen it now. I'm no Jim Bergman, but
Okay, we all know that.
that's all I said. Okay. So it's 90 degree operator, so let's say it's 90. 4 degree minus 10.
That's a really big subtool.
Oh yeah, these dryers small.
Okay.
All this stuff. And they jacked the charge up trying to get it to the refrigerator.
This is all accurate. This looks like exactly what I would see on an R22 clog dryer. So.
Okay, well, good for you, Bert.
We're talking about 410.
You get away the other price.
No,
I just want to see what comes next.
We got ourselves, nobody leave. We're giving away a whole turbo torch kit in this room. Right now. Not right now, but in a minute or so. Keep going. Yeah, please. Giveaways! Keep going.
Our outlet is 215
Okay.
PSI.
Okay.
Saturation is what?
Okay, hold on. I'll tell
I'm
you.
gonna hold on, Brian. 104-ish.
101.5, Joe.
101.5.
You're hired.
That's a great station, by the way.
102 degrees. Light temp still 94 degrees. It's like what? 6, 27, 30 degrees up cool. Then 8 degrees up cool. As long as you still have subcooling, that really won't flash.
There'll still be a temperature drop.
There'll still be a temperature drop.
Mic drop.
I'm just saying that's not going to
That's
happen.
not no temperature drop.
It will. I'm saying what you just drew there, I mean, it's beautiful on the board, and it looks really. I mean, I'll give you lots of credit for that, but it's just not going to happen.
I've seen that.
I know, and that's fine. And when I was a kid, I had a ghost in my room, and he's around. And,
Oh my
He's
God.
struggling, y'all. When he starts talking about ghosts,
I'm just saying that is the absolute. That's like the trump card that every technician. Well, I've seen it happen. I mean, it's just weird on.
Well, why can't it happen?
Because you're giving a hypothetical because you're saying that you have a subcool decrease, and so because of that
Well,
that
pressure
subcool
decrease.
Pressure.
The temperature stayed the same.
Yeah, but I'm saying that doesn't happen.
Yes, why not?
It would have to pick up exactly the right amount of heat.
You'd have to have heat.
No, it's not. Nothing's
You would have
flashing
to.
because it's still subcool.
It's not a matter. So
Hold on. It's not gonna. It's not
This
going
is like
to.
my wife, and you have to listen, but you know she's still wrong. Go ahead.
Wow.
I'm gonna practice active.
Go ahead, hon.
We're married. I don't have.
Keep going. I spend it all on events.
You hide it all the way up to
So I'm
the
charging. I'm going.
You ain't getting
If
a
it's
dime.
not flashing, because what? Okay, Brian. When does flashing happen in liquid?
Flashing happens when you drop to zero sub.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Thank you.
Because
sir.
I actually know how
If
you're
you
going to.
drop to zero subcooling.
It doesn't
No.
have to flash the
It
drop.
doesn't have to flash in order to drop in temperature.
What?
It doesn't have to flash in order to drop in temperature.
Think about like an air compressor.
The saturation
The air
changes,
comes
the
out
pressure
cold.
changes.
This is an absolute
Gas
rule of
will
thermodynamics.
No,
When you
no,
drop
no.
pressure, you drop temperature. Period.
No,
It does not matter if it's
no, no.
liquid. It doesn't matter if it's vapor. It doesn't matter if it's in the saturated state.
Hold on a second. That's false because would a modern unit have some pressure drop in the outdoor coil? Yes or no?
Yes.
It's rejecting heat.
Does the temperature change based on that pressure drop? If it was
Yes,
a,
but it's also rejecting. It's actively
no,
rejecting heat.
No, it's not.
no,
There's no heat rejection right there.
It's not.
There's no heat rejection right there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a garden hose, and I pull the nozzle.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm dropping the PSI
Right.
in half.
Right?
Is it really going to drop in temperature?
No.
Yes.
Brian, no.
Right outside the nozzle,
Yes.
so it's warmer inside my hose than it is on my hand.
Yes. But it's just it's an immeasurably small number. That's all.
On that one, but with
It's just I'm just saying that yes. Can you see a temperature difference without a pressure difference? Yes, absolutely. Because you can project. It's just temperature difference.
No, but hold on a second. Can you see a pressure differential without a temperature differential? And the answer is yes.
Only if there's heat rejection or absorption.
Wrong.
Correct.
Because let's say that this outdoor coil,
Okay.
at the very bottom of it, because it's a heat pump,
Okay.
it has a TXV that has an internal checkout.
Okay.
It happens that there is a 10 psi drop across that assembly. In cooling mode, it's going backwards through the heating TXV. 10 psi drop.
Okay.
So by your statement, it would be dropping minuscule but measurable amount of temperature just based on that 10 psi.
Yes. Yes.
I
Whatever.
think what's happening here, if I devil's advocate, is to say it could drop by an immeasurable amount. So in this case, it probably dropped by an immeasurable amount. Maybe it dropped by
Okay, let's say it's 94.0001. This is 94.00 or 93.99999.
That's what I'm getting at. It might not be something you can measure accurately in the field.
I think it's just important that
But that doesn't correspond to any pressure temperature relationship. It's not flashing.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying completely, and let me validate it and just put a pin in it and say what you're saying is very important to me and our relationship. No, so what you're saying is good and it's true, and that is where we see most of heat transfer. But when you have a pressure differential, you have a temperature differential, unless you have some other transfer of heat energy. Unless there's some other transfer of heat energy, if you drop the pressure on something,
But
its
you're
temperature
speaking
drops.
in terms of a tank of Freon, and I'm speaking in terms of a system that is in operation. It's being compressed.
Over ambient, there will be some heat transfer from it to the air around it.
But that's the only way it would stay the same temperature is if the dryer did absorb X amount of heat.
Correct. And if the dryer's absorbing heat, how does it absorb heat?
The
By being lower temperature.
The sun's shining directly on it.
Projecting what? Well,
Whichever way, you're not going to be able to measure. You're going to take a temperature drop across this drive that's got a significant restriction. That's a significant pressure drop. And your Tesco's, your Joplin probes are going to show you 94 and 93.9.
It'll probably be 1 or 2 degrees.
Sometimes less, and it could be, but even at 1 or 2, you might,
That's like
You might say something.
I've heard 1 or 2 is acceptable.
Yeah,
Right.
it's acceptable up to 3 degrees, right?
Across anything.
It's acceptable up to 3 degrees.
Up to 3 degrees is a rule of thumb you've heard.
Not rule of thumb, it's an acceptable degree, 3 degrees is acceptable.
Right, so
Up
you
to.
can have this dryer, and you can be thinking it's about 2 degrees,
From 3 up. It's a
because you've got a long line set,
Right,
3 degrees
exactly.
exactly.
you've got a pressure drop here,
Just which 1 degree the
and
difference.
by the time that this
Right, but
makes it to the evaporator, you flash on the line.
Sometimes it's gonna show
yeah,
1, but then
here's the problem. I'm not disputing. So you have the
That's
sorry,
acceptable.
So let's set that one aside. So what you're saying is that your subcool drops 33 degrees to 8 degrees
18 degrees.
in this space.
Correct.
Yeah, that was like
How can that
blocking
happen?
for complete pressure. Stop floating.
So
Just pressure.
You're saying that
Everyone
change.
stop by. See,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that that's not what happens.
Yeah, man.
Then there would be a proportional change in
Yeah,
temperature.
go back to
I'm
the
saying
bottom
that
chart.
change.
What do you think the temperature would be?
Perfect.
I'm saying that because if you're saying that this is a cool pump liquid, so you have a cool pump liquid going in, and a cool pump liquid coming out, correct? Okay. If you have a pressure drop there, you're going to see temperature difference. You're going to see a temperature that corresponds with that pressure.
Okay, well, what am I going to say?
So you're going to see, in this scenario, you're going to see a drop in temperature that corresponds of the differences in saturation between those two. So if you had an 85 psi differential, what would that be? So you're going from 300. So you're going to see 300 to just 127 to 215.
No, 300 to 250.
No,
127 saturation.
to 102. 127 to 102, right? That's what all main motion is. So you're going to see a 25 degree temperature drop.
That'll be below anything, that'll be frosting and sweat. Sorry, it's just not true. I'm just saying. That's okay. Doesn't buy that 25 degrees.
I still love you. You can be wrong, and I can still love you. It's fine.
Stop.
Somebody's sleeping on the couch tonight.
I don't actually talk to my wife this way. I'm just
Nelly, chime in.
I'm experimenting.
Nelly, chime in,
What did
please.
you say, 20?
So it's going to be proportional. You're going to see a proportional
You
drop.
said number, you said what, 25? 25.
I'm
So
saying
you're
calculate
going
that.
to say line temp 94,
Uh-huh.
and on this side it's going to be what, 69?
Can't calculate that.
No, but that's not how it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. That's not what's going to
The
happen.
problem with doing this in theory is
Well,
that
see,
we
you
have.
just said it's not what's going to happen?
What? No, you're saying because you're trying to hold your subcooler. That's what you're like.
No,
You're
no. This would still be massively subcooled on this side, right? Or is it still 33? Still 33. So according to Brian, your subcooling is still going to be 33.
no, your subcooling is going to. Okay, hold on. So you're going to go from you're saying that you're starting at the liquid line temperature is starting at
94.
94.
It's 90 degrees outside. It's a 13 here.
We have to use that. You know what this will be? Here's my show. Our video will be contested.
Definitely.
Fall out and liquid line.
Test port on both sides.
We did.
This is why you can't
We
use.
don't need Jim for this. Every question answer to every question is not going to Jim. All right.
The answer to every question is in your system.
And the TXB.
And the TXB.
You change both
Why-
TXB and the
why-
dryer, boom, no question.
Chad, it's all your fault, man.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so we will test that.
Let's test it.
We will test it. That'll be easy. We'll do it in our training
Make it
room.
interesting, Brian.
That's what we're now.
That's
What kind of car you got?
illegal. I've got a crappy old Ford E250 I'm driving right now.
What else you got?
I've got another E250, 15 passenger for you kids.
Does he have 10 kids?
So let's move on. So you keep going to the edges of how to just tell them how to diagnose the TXV. Just tell them. Tell them and then tell them what you told them.
Whole column of liquids.
No
hissing sounds at the valve.
And then what's your
This
super
is
heat?
going to be subjective, though.
And then what's your super heat? That's it. Super heat at the outlet of the evaporator coil. Do you have a full line?
I just don't want him to think it's that easy. Because there's more to it. And that's okay if you guys, it's going to be a learning experience for you to be sure that if the TXV, replace it and still have about the same system pressure. Is that ever happened to you, Eric?
It has. Has anybody ever seen a TXV or condemned a TXV? Let's see, go to weekend. You're running maybe a little bit lower than normal to normal suction pressure, but high superheat. And normal to elevated subcooling. Have you ever seen it like that? Replace the valve and it does the same exact thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
So
like,
I've had that happen. And when that happened, I talked to Joe about this before, trying to find you have non-condensables in the system. I pulled the charge out of that unit. That unit had half the amount of, because I pumped it down there close to valve. It had half the refrigerant charge it should. Pulled a vacuum, put the right charge in, ran fine.
It's happened to me
So
because of the same thing.
that much non-condensables in there, then it's going to start looking like a bad TXV. But
So it's already.
let's define bad
It's-
TXV.
Yeah,
We're talking
it's
about
4. It's 4.
what?
It's 4 o'clock.
yeah, we got half an hour.
No, it closes at. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Keep going.
Can we get 432 now? Since we're Alright, so let's define bad TXV. We're talking low, what?
Common liquid.
Huh? No. What are we going to see?
Low
when we
suction
say
pressure.
bad TXV?
Low PSI on the suction.
Low suction pressure. What else?
High superheat.
Superheat.
So cool. It can be low superheat too.
Good subcool.
Well, I have never
Acceptable
Cool after you try to
Yeah.
splash some gas.
Yeah.
Acceptable
You
stuff.
will not see
Get enough varnish.
Yeah, normal.
Still wide open.
unless something's already overcharged.
We'll say normal to high, because normal is like you're the first arrival, high after Brian.
Rare. And there's a lot of refrigeration on
I have
others.
feeling.
I'm sorry, sweetie.
All right, so
We'll talk about this in the car a little
but
bit.
let's establish why that is. Because the reason is that in order to have subcool,
We've only got 30 minutes.
okay, keep going.
Low head pressure.
Who
Who invited that guy?
Anyone else?
Low head pressure, normal
Oh,
subflow.
yeah, absolutely. Lower head pressure. We can also say, have you guys ever heard of that word approach or condensing over ambient?
Yeah.
Condensing. So you'll kind of have like a system that, you know, is running a high side of 100 degrees on a 94-degree day. You're like, gosh, this really looks like it's a super 15, 16 SEER unit, and it's not one of these. Lower head pressure, I guess you say higher approach. I know it's better. Lower head pressure. That's going to be your most common issue in the field for a bad TAV. Is anyone, Brian? Except for Brian.
If it's not slammed open or closed.
If it's not slammed open or closed, this is like a, you know, partially, kind of a hard, because a slam shut valve is kind of easy. I mean, unless for some reason, you know, again, Brian happened to be in the house and kinked the line as he was trying to, I don't know, put up some shelving or something in his house. But, so we can pretty much give you guys a pretty decent, and we'll see if Brian, as the owner of the company, would agree that this is a pretty good procedure to make sure that you don't have what has happened to me, happened to Eric, happened to Bert, where you replace the valve and you still have the same outcome. So and this is for a system that you really don't have any history with. If it's a system that you've got some history with that you know, number one, how it has worked in the past, maybe you can bypass some of these steps. But number one is instead of, okay, I'll ask you this way. If you're going to replace a TXV, what would you guys do? A, recover the entire charge, or B, pump it down, replace the valve, pull a vacuum, and open the valves back up?
Recovered.
Depends on the.
Recover the entire charge.
Pump down.
Pump down the unit.
Depends where the liquid line dryer is.
We've had non-condensables because we pumped it down. So we've had older.
I don't know that you might not have had it because you pumped it down unless you nitrogen pressure tested it.
Yeah.
And then it went through the closed valves because you jacked it up higher than the unit. Is that?
Well, yeah, I mean, even at like 150 psi, we've had some that would just, you know,
It's
they're
gone
10 years
backwards
old,
through into
they would
the
go
unit.
back through it. Yeah, so we just start recovering all of them because
So if I get to a system that's got a bad THP, and I even question that possibly this unit's got non-condensables in it or something, I'm going to recover the entire charge. And what's an extremely important step, Eric? Weigh it.
Oh, yes.
Weigh it. Because if you get out 7 pounds and the tag calls for 10, and it's not like, you know, condenser is here and it goes right through a wall, the air handler's right here, maybe that would be questionable if that's okay. But if you get 7 pounds out of the machine and it calls for 10, 11, that might be a sign right there that you may have had non-condensables in it, making it look just like a bad THD valve. So step one would be recover the entire charge, weigh it. And then number two would probably be replace any dryer. It's just good practice, whether or not you think it's clogged.
Well, you're supposed to change it anytime system's up and in.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is how many people, if they were working on a unit that had a dryer inside the unit, and it's happened to me, it's happened to Eric, it's happened to Bert, we just pump it
Or are you
down.
excluding me?
We're not going to change the
It's
dryer.
happened to Brian many times.
Probably more times than all of y'all.
Probably. Probably.
So many times.
Probably
Yeah, keep
more
going.
times. Absolutely. You just pump it down. slap a new valve in it, pull a vacuum on the line set and coil, and open it up again. So it is a lot more work to replace it when it's inside the unit, but if we could go back to my original scenario, that's 100% and accurate. This could happen.
It's fine.
It's on paper.
Sources say this is 100% true and accurate.
Physics don't exist up in North Florida.
Synced it. If there was, I mean, if there was like a 20% chance that your nitrogen would leak back through the valves, then to me it's 100% worth it to.
Well, what you could do in that scenario, and what I do a lot of times, is I don't put it above the sticker gauge on the, well, I guess you guys don't work on a lot of heat pumps. I always have that ace on my holds because I can put, wow.
Sounds like HVAC uncensored up in here.
This is not wireless. Is that I've got the heat pump port to put a gauge on and say, okay, I've got 200 psi standing pressure in the unit, so I could pressure test up to like 190 safely. Does that make sense? If my pressure inside the unit is 200 and I nitrogen test up to 190, it shouldn't go into 200, right?
Right. I can go ahead and say, because we know about physics, that it won't go into stay as natural state.
Yeah, unless for some reason there was a compressor pumping.
I didn't hear the last thing you said because you were so emotional.
One more thing.
So, bad TXV, questionable system, and maybe this customer, you really don't want to, you really want to like fix the job in one call, give them one price, you know it's going to be, well man, actually it's going to need more than, it's going to be a nightmare to go there, so you're really just going to
Need a new system.
If you work for Kalos, but it's almost so the warranty with you. The warranty's no good.
No, ma'am, your warranty's no good with me. What?
But your new unit will have good warranty. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Yeah.
To me.
My wife understands me. Recover the entire charge weight, replace any dryers, full evacuation.
Blue vac hoses, not Appion.
No nitro white racing.
Do I get
Subject to change if they sponsor the podcast.
Yeah. Full evacuation and recharge and compare. I think Eric should agree that you'll probably fix 99% of conditions that exhibit low suction pressure, high superheat, normal high subcool, lower head pressure. If you do those 4 steps instead of just pump the system down, put a new valve.
We're also talking about replacing the valve in the sponsor too, right? Just to be clear.
Oh yeah, I should put that stuff.
Once you do all of those steps,
So let's do 2.5. Replace.
because if it's been running with non-condensables,
Flow nitrogen while you replace that.
Huh?
Add some flow nitrogen so the next valve doesn't fail when you're
Okay.
replacing the valve.
Well, we are pretending that you have Zoom lock in
Okay.
this scenario.
everything's like,
I like how you say Zoom.
Zoom lock. Zoom leak lock. I mean, leak lock. Are they a sponsor?
They use
All right. Recharge and compares really just, I think it's more probably for your own guys learning because it's going to be real eye-opening to see how many systems have a significant amount of non-condensable zone. That you would ordinarily think was bad TXV because you get 7 pounds out and you've got like 11 pounds in. And now she's refrigerating.
and your subheat is lower, your superheat is lower.
Your pressure's a lot lower. Well, I know we said lower. This is all kind of just trying to get there, but with non-condensables, typically you'll see your head pressure is higher. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna throw this out there. So is there a way to check the non-condensables without pulling the charge out?
Yes, but it's extremely finicky, and me and Eric have
It's all based on anecdotes.
Yeah, it's almost quicker and easier to,
When you see the signs.
yeah, just treat it like it is, because you're gonna be hours
Pressure bouncing.
trying to let that bottle cool back down, because you can bottle it. You can let it cool to ambient, and you can check your pressure to your gauge pressure. I'm sorry, you can check the bottle temperature to your gauge pressure. And if it's 90 degrees, but your pressure says 102,
Bob's drunk.
well,
You
no.
see a lot of times too.
Bob's your aunt, because you've got non-condensables.
You can hear hissing at the end of a valve. You
Yes.
see somewhat normal suction pressure with high superheat.
Right.
Your condensing temperature over ambient, your approach will be 0, or actually your liquid line could be under ambient. That's a real dead giveaway, although that can happen with a really low charge. But Christian and I, remember that unit? That was R22.
Yeah,
It
and
was around like 400 some head pressure.
yeah, it was
Everything else, and so the first thing we did, we tried washing the condenser coil, and it did absolutely nothing. And we checked, and it's like the liquid line wasn't overly hot, but the first thing he put some water on it, didn't really do anything. So we pulled the charge out of this unit. It was a 5-ton unit. It shipped with 12 pounds. It had about 150 feet of lines, half-inch liquid line.
7 pounds.
There was like 7 pounds of refrigerant.
7 pounds.
It still had like a 400-pound head pressure on R22.
Are you still gonna change the TXB at that point?
In this case, we weighed in the gas out of the cylinder, and we put in more gas, and it ran fine. And we didn't have approval to change the TXD at that point.
Wait a second. You're saying you put it into a tank and then you went out of the liquid side?
Yeah, we took just the liquid out of the tank because it was R22, and then we topped it off.
And it may not be perfect. I mean, I know what you're thinking. There might be still some.
You don't know what I'm thinking.
In this situation,
I love this.
in this situation, it was more of a diagnostic learning experience before we used actual parts. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you may have some entrained bubbles like in the bottle, but you're going to make it work.
Now, if you already told the customer they had a bad TXB, would you still?
Well, here's the thing:
In
is
this
let's say,
situation,
let's think about this. You're on a job, and it's showing all the classic signs of non-condensables. Number one, you've got high subcool on the outdoor unit. You go into the indoor unit, and it sounds like it's bubbling, churning, like it's low. How is that? Because I've got subcooling outside. You've got low suction pressure. Sometimes you even have normal suction pressure, but high superheat, low system capacity, the customer says. In the afternoon, it won't get below 76. Okay, that's your typical call.
Well, okay, can I simplify this for a second? Because I think sometimes
Please do.
well, that was condescending as heck.
No. Can you read my mind?
I'm saying I was being condescending. I apologize because I respect what you're saying. But like on a TXB diagnosis, okay?
But no.
Let's do non-condensables and TXB. Just let
We're
me
kind of
finish this. On a TXB diagnosis, superheat is indicator number 1. It's primary indicator for TXB diagnosis. Because it's what tells you that it's not an airflow problem.
Right.
Because a lot of guys, they look at suction pressure. I mean, suction pressure is kind of a given. Like everybody's looking at suction pressure. And so that's the number one rookie mistake. Is like, oh, my suction pressure's low, it's not taking charge.
Your line's
I have
ice
a bad
cold,
TXV.
bro.
Right, it's airflow, right?
In that case, if they would have checked their temperature split, they would have seen it's a lot bigger than expected, whereas with a bad TXV, it's going to be less than expected.
But this is TXV for beginners.
Okay, right. And here's what I'm saying: suction pressure and superheat are your best TXV diagnostic indicators. Okay.
To make that initial, I guess, you pull up to a house and you're like,
It's going to narrow it down to 3 things.
to narrow down your scope.
And non-condensables, your number one indicator is I've got high head pressure and I don't have a dirty condenser. And the only trick here is that you can't just say I don't have it because I look at it, it doesn't look dirty.
And sometimes it's like, is this
Like
high
it's short
or
on
is this
gas, is
small?
what you're saying?
Yeah, short on
But
gas.
again, it's a compound problem at that point. It can happen. It can happen.
Oh, that can happen, but my other one can't?
It's more often than not what happens, though, because those are the guys that
Okay,
back
fair
and
enough.
They blew half the charge, it came out with one side, and they said, we're good, and they left. So that's how you end up with non-condensable annual charge from a one-step bad installation.
How do you know what I did?
You made a video on it.
Right, that's the problem with Bert. It's like, look here, what you do is you chase refrigerant through it, and then you say it's good. I'm like, can we cut that part out?
No, just leaving all the funny jokes.
That aren't-
up the drain line.
Right, yeah, fair enough.
Basically, low suction high superheat leads you to TXV or low charge most of the time. Well, it's a restriction somewhere, which is usually the beginning of this.
Yeah, you know, a lot of.
On diagnosing a TXP, I always say shut off the system, let it stabilize, and then turn it back on. If you have an airflow problem and it's been running a long time, sometimes your TXP will actually slam down much more, and then you will have a warm suction. You're not going to continue to have that cold suction, even though you have an airflow problem.
Wait, hold on a second. What are you saying?
So let's say you start off your system and you got a really dirty filter, okay?
All right.
All right?
Okay.
What's going to happen is your line's going to get icy cold.
Okay, and what's the valve going to do?
It's going to slam down.
Slam shut, okay.
And oftentimes, almost completely slam down. And you're starting to ice up right away
Hold on, the valve will
with
maintain.
airflow. And then, as it continues to run, it holds. It will stay down. It'll stay down, and then your suction line is going to start to get hot. And oftentimes, you're checking it outside because you have really low volume going through that suction line. It'll start to get warm, and so you'll come up and you'll have high superheat, low subcool. You're checking outside, and you don't know what's going on. You turn off your system, you turn it back on, and now you have really low subcool for the first few minutes that it's running. And superheat, sorry. Now you have really low superheat, and you know, okay, this is actually caused by an airflow problem. This has happened so many times.
I'm not sure, but
This
I
happens so
think
many
Dorothy bring up a great point.
Airflow
No,
is
there
the
is
number one
some truth as that volume flow, mass flow rate decreases. As that valve slows down, then you are going to tend to pick up more suction line superheat because you have less molecules, you have less mass moving through the suction line. So that is possible, but you're talking about something that has the world changed? Because
no. This
since
happens
I
all
was
the time.
when I was a new tech, I misdiagnosed TXPs.
Well, we do have climate change.
Climate change, right?
Guaranteed, this is the number one reason that TXV is misdiagnosed.
But I just don't. I don't think in the
It's
era that I understood how a valve worked,
And
I
they
don't
had
think I
high
misdiagnosed a valve ever.
They had a high superheat, and it was not actually the TXV. Therefore,
But I think one of the most common things
I'll show you myself in there.
with the
in there on that
TXV,
one.
low
I'll
superheat.
fail it again.
Okay.
Change the filter problem too.
Alright, so another bad TXV, less common, probably maybe not less common, but something that probably most people would say, well, I can't do anything about that, is like 0 to 3 degree superheat. I think you would probably have a little bit higher suction pressure. And I would say 9 times out of 10, I can fix that system. The bulb is just not getting really good contact. The wrong spot.
On the ring unit. I've seen it in the wrong
Yeah.
spot on the ring unit, so it's not inside, it's only got 2 bends.
Okay, yeah.
And you'll
So
actually-
let's say this is a piece of copper, and you stick this super flat bulb on here, and it's really only touching the copper. That one, like I kind of take my flashlight whenever I put a TXV bulb on, and I'll try to shine it in the clamp. And sometimes you'll see that your bulb is barely touching the suction line, and that's not enough to really give it the right temperature. So you really want to make sure that, and I just find that light trick really works for me. That is really touching, like you can't see any light between the bulb and the line. Like Eric said, make sure it's in the right spot. The carrier is I find this a lot on carriers, that's kind of why I brought it up. They have that little divot in the suction line where that bulb is, and the bulb is really hard to get to. And sometimes the factory kind of has it a little bit offset of that well to where it's just not touching good, and it's running like 0 to 3. And if I can get it, and they've also got that factory one-time clamp that I don't feel like always works real good. So if I can move it, get it in the well better, flat, across, with no light shining, and then a good clamp, all of a sudden this goes to like maybe 6 to 9. The carrier does like to run their superheater a little lower, 6.
And that is definitely true. Now, here's the question. Does that improve,
Finally.
does that improve system performance?
Performance. It's fine. Go.
Does it improve system efficiency or capacity
No.
by making that change? No.
But performance for the customer.
Long-term longevity, yes, because now you're not potentially flooding. Now,
What do you say?
let's say, hold on. Let's say you have a long line set and outside you're already running 15 to 30. Is that a change worth making?
I would, well, follow me here. I might say yes. Why pick up that extra heat? Why pick up that extra heat for the compressor to have to re-compress?
Hold on. No, so the compressor wants the suction line to be as cold as it can be while still doing the job that it should be doing in the evaporator. So as long as it's doing the job it's supposed to do in the evaporator, dehumidification, capacity-wise, you want your suction gas to be as cold as it can be. Lower temperature. And it will be lower temperature when you're running lower superheat. And the reason I have it, the only reason that I'm mentioning this is because this comes up. You'll send a guy out. All right, we got this trouble customer, Mrs. Jones is having a problem. It's not keeping up in the middle of summer. And you look at the service notes, and they say, found bulb loose it was running 3 degrees of superheat, and now it's running 9.
Right.
I fixed the problem. The answer is no.
I see
You
the
actually
bias
made it
in
worse.
that. Yeah.
You did not help system capacity by increasing superheat. Now, you did it, and it could be beneficial, but it actually might not be beneficial, frankly. If you have a line set length that's resulting in high superheat at the compressor anyway, because what's the maximum suction temperature we should have, ever?
65.
65 degrees. That's what Copeland says, right? 65 degrees.
But what would you say is worse for a compressor? 0 degree superheat or an 80 degree?
Depends.
This will do it in.
It depends. So if the compressor has an accumulator, then I'll take the 0 superheat all day long.
Over
The thing is,
sweating the oil and everything?
You can sweat the
Sweating the oil, sweating the sump of the compressor, it's sweating and foaming.
because I don't care about whether it's sweating or cold. I just care about whether there's liquid getting into it.
But that would require that, okay, we're getting off on a tangent.
the system is involved in that. I've seen them, not in the
Correct, because now you're going to have more variation based on.
Some really bad system performance.
Well, and again, we're not
If it's
talking
just a
about.
little bit wrong, you're probably not changing anything.
Is this gonna make Miss Jones's air conditioner go from 76 to 72? No, it's not gonna have that big of an effect. But, it's just, this is probably more of like, you find this on maintenance.
Yeah.
You care about Mrs. Jones.
So I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. All I'm saying is a lot of guys they'll adjust something because it can be adjusted. They'll change something because it can be changed, but it doesn't fix the problem at hand. And what you observe in Carrier specifically, we observe all the time. We observed it in our unit right in the office when Bert screwed with it and put the bulb on wrong with zip
Why is it
ties.
always Bert?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Why is it always Bert?
Don't
You
use
know,
zip ties.
That's a really good question. Zip ties. Zip ties. And then he wanted to argue with me about it. My brother wants to argue with me about zip ties still.
Zip ties work really good for securing the bowl, unless you want to do it right. I use tinfoil.
Don't listen to him. All right, so we have to wrap up. Is there any closing words before we figure out a way to select the winner of our torch kit? What are you looking at?
Is that a torch kit?
No, your torch kit's sitting right there in a brown box.
Leave off the cliffhanger for next year. And then everybody will have to come back.
Okay. They don't get the. Oh, we're just gonna leave it.
We're just gonna leave
Oh,
off.
so all right. So we're gonna do the Joe Shearer test, and I want to make sure that we are clear on what the test is going to be. We're going to put a ball valve on a liquid line. We're going to have ports before and after it. We're going to overcharge it so that way we have 30 degrees of subcool at the inlet, so it's exactly what you said. And I'm going to torque it down, and we're going to see if there's a temperature drop across it. Is that the test?
Yeah, I just want you to drop the pressure and still have measurable subcooling, not 1 or 2, but like 5 or 6 coming out. Rather than
Right. And my argument is the subcooling will be pretty much
But
the
here's the
same
thing.
coming in and out.
It's not.
That the subcooling will drop. Meaning that if you have 30 coming in, it's going to be about 30 coming out because you're going to see that temperature drop.
We can do that experiment, and just because you can do it with a ball valve, I don't know if that's such a sudden restriction that you can't get that.
Back it out.
And it's going to end with, well, I saw it before, so I don't know what you're doing. You did the test wrong. I don't see it once. So.
Just remember though, in your test, are we going to put this on the operating system?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll do it on our training room unit.
It
Liquid line
normally-
ball valve, and we'll just adjust it, and I'll video the whole thing. Just adjust it all kinds of different levels.
We could even put a sight glass on the outlet.
Yeah. Sight glass on the outlet. Let's do it.
Because I think as soon as you see it flashing, that's when your temp drop is.
Do it tonight, Eric.
Oh, you don't
It's all completed.
do it tonight.
No torch get till
No. Yeah. All right, so you guys got to come up with a quick quiz question, a really hard one that we can ask. What's a really hard quiz question, not some made up fake quiz,
Eric has
something
to
real.
Okay, I've got one. I've got
Okay,
one.
you
Stop
got
right.
All right.
You guys ready?
All right. It's not.
Will you have a temp drop?
Stop. Okay, I'll ask this. So dryers that are specifically designed for removing wax from a system, what is the designation?
HH.
Boom.
Hold on. Yes, part 1 of that answer is true, but is that HH dryer particularly useful in compressor burnouts?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. No, it's not.
I'm gonna go find Andy.
For what?
Yeah.
Please agree with me that while it can be useful, because is there wax in the compressor burnout system?
Yes.
No. Wax is created from low temperature systems where the oil was getting cooked. That's why they created the HH dryers. So
Okay, so you're saying that Portland doesn't recommend an HH in the burnout?
they do, but it's kind of odd, and
If
that's
I
why.
didn't say no when I said that.
Because I think no, and
I argue with my wife, trust me.
Change
I
my
can argue with you, buddy.
I'm gonna put.
Where am I from?
Hold on. HH dryers
Get him!
are not useful.
Calm down. Calm down.
Change my mind.
Go get in.
Let's go get in.
Calm down.
I won.
No.
I won.
Pick it up tomorrow.
Okay. Hold on. Let's say.
What a
Stands.
All right, thank you all. Appreciate you. Woo! Yeah, don't anybody clap me.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay. Can you see that? Oh yeah. Perfect. Go back a little bit. Just a little. Right there. That's good. Perfect.
2020. Bar Boys Live.
Oh, that's funny.
Except that guy was about to fight.